So, Hannah, first of all, nice to meet you. Thanks for agreeing to talk with us today. We would like to talk about your store, Don't Buy Her Flowers. So, very good name. And I guess it leads in kind of nicely to your story, right? So can you tell us a little bit about your brand, your business, how you got it started?
Yeah, sure. So Steph, our founder, started Don't Buy Her Flowers after she had her first baby. She received a number of bouquets of flowers. And I think, as lovely as flowers are, in that moment when you've just had a baby, it's hard enough kind of, looking after the baby and yourself and everything else. So flowers are just another thing to take care of. And so she was like, wouldn't it be better if you received something after having a new baby that was a bit more caring for you and you didn't have to worry about looking after? So that's kind of how the idea was born. Don't buy her flowers, actually give her something that she doesn't have to take care of. And so she created these care packages, things like, nice cup of tea, a nice scarf to make you feel better, a bit of energy in terms of a flapjack and things like that, cook vouchers, so frozen food. And that's how the business started. And then very quickly, it was obvious that actually it wasn't just about new mums, it was about any reason and any occasion. So any of those kind of tough times that you might be going through in life, like bereavement or, a diagnosis or things like that, actually, it's much nicer to receive and more thoughtful to receive a gift care package than it is the flowers. But also, just the regular occasions like birthdays. Birthdays one of our top reasons for people buying gifts. So that's how Don't Buy Her Flowers came to life.
Random question, but is it only for like the recipients are women, or can you buy it for anyone? It's like Don't Buy Him flowers as well?
So it's only Don't Buy Her Flowers. However, we cater for men, women, kids, teens, dogs. For the whole family. So our primary audience is female, but ultimately they're buying for, loved ones, and that can be anyone.
Okay. So another question, if I know that I want to give a gift to like a new mother, would I need to know exactly what to include in the care package? Or what if I was like most dads, lost and confused?
Yeah. So you can we've got ready-made gift packages. So that's where we've created gift packages based on, what we know people want to send for those particular reasons and occasions. Or you can create something completely bespoke and put together a gift package yourself. So if you know that there's certain things that the person you're sending it to really enjoys or loves, then you can create that yourself. Or if you just want it easy, then you can go to our site and pick something that's already pre-made.
Oh, perfect. All right, so I guess Mother's Day would probably be one of your biggest holidays, right? For Don't Buy Flowers. All right, so how does Don't Buy Her Flowers approach Mother's Day? Like, what is your general philosophy? How do you do the campaigns, your strategies, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so I think Mother's Day is one of our biggest occasions. And I think with any occasion that we have, our business is based on being thoughtful and thoughtfulness. So we need to make sure that we bring that to life through everything that we do. So that is very much at the forefront of when we are planning a campaign. For Mother's Day, we would always offer an opt-out option before leading into Mother's Day. So anyone that found that occasion particularly difficult or didn't want to hear about it, we're able to opt them out of the Mother's Day communications, but it means that we can still communicate with them about other things that we've got going on. And also I think it's important because obviously we've got the product side of things, but it's really important for us to bring the emotive side to life. So that's recognizing people that are going through motherhood, whether it's for the first time or the fifth time. There's wonderful occasions, lovely occasions, but also it can be very difficult and tough. And especially after 2 weeks of half term, I'm crawling to the finish line. So it's that
congratulations.
kind of thing. So it's important for us to, bring that side of things to life as well, because the box of products is actually what creates that connection by sending that person sending that product to, a mother to say, you're doing a really great job, hang in there, those kind of things.
So I guess I have another question, pretty random as well, about the other side. When you're talking about opt-out, do you see a lot of or a significant portion of your subscribers opting out for Mother's Day specifically? Because we do hear that, it can be a pretty sensitive kind of day. What do you see in that regard?
Yeah, so it's been a decent take-up in terms of people actually asking to opt out once we send that email. And we've collated the information over the years. So anyone that has opted out for a previous year, we do that automatically for them. We don't do it, so we don't have to keep asking them the same question. And yeah, I'd say, it's not thousands, but we get a decent number of people wanting to opt out of that particular occasion.
And what would be some of the bigger reasons why they would opt out?
In terms of the reasons that they opt out, I imagine they've had a loss. That's probably the main reason, really. Either that they've lost their own mother, or that they've lost a baby and things like that.
Oh,
so it's
okay.
Not what to hear about the occasion.
Thoughtfulness is one of the, I guess, core reasons why Don't Buy Flowers was started, right? So do you see, as a consumer yourself, as you're buying things from other e-commerce stores, what kind of things do you see that you would say is not thoughtful, that you would not want you wouldn't want to repeat at Don't Buy Her Flowers?
I think it comes... the thoughtfulness has to come end to end. So I think at every single touch point, if you are, our business is built around thoughtfulness, and Steph's really key that we follow that through every single customer touch point. So whether or not it's the person that you speak to on the phone, or whether it's, with a customer service query, or whether it's the way that the package goes out. And, you can imagine we handwrite every single tag message. So every customer that sends a gift box, they can have a personal handwritten note. We have to make sure that is, that's done properly and done right. Because if you imagine, if we get that mixed up and we send the wrong tag message to someone who's, I don't know, maybe has gone through a bereavement or something like that, and that's wrong, that could be really hurtful and harmful. So it's important that, I think, for brands to look at, if you are trying to implement kind of thoughtfulness, it has to follow through every single customer touch point, whether that's the marketing, the customer services, the products that you bring in, the partners that you work with. We're really, we analyse in terms of who we might work with as a partner, because if their brand doesn't align with ours, then it's something that we won't push forward with.
Perfect. Great answer. So maybe it's a good segue, maybe not. How did you decide to switch to Omnisend?
So we went through a process of email platforms. So I think we looked at 3 or 4 different email platforms. I had meetings with every single one to understand the functionality, understand what could be done, and how it integrates into our WooCommerce platform. And then we did a bit of who kind of meets our requirements in terms of what we need, and the right budget, etc. And you guys came top.
Perfect. So yeah, it was some combination of the biggest draws would be like features and pricing.
There's, I guess, 3 things that I looked at: features, pricing, but also the relationship. So in terms of the connection with account manager and stuff like that, that's really important to me, because I use that service quite a bit to make sure that I'm kind of maxing out Omnisend within the capacity that we've got. So again, it was important that those 3 things aligned with what we wanted.
Perfect. And yeah, so how has your experience been with Omnisend so far? It's been a year already, right?
So far, really, really good. We've got a really good relationship. Any queries that I've had, I've been able to get answers to really quickly. And if I haven't been able to, talk to someone immediately, I've been able to use your information across the website to get answers. So, we've been able to progress what we've done on Omnisend quite significantly. I'd say at the moment, we don't have the capacity in-house because it's just me at the moment. So to really max it out, I think there's a lot of features that we're not making use of and we want to make use of, but that'll be something that we will do as we grow, and we'll bring more resource in to help with that, because I think there's an element of not being able to do everything just because I don't have the capacity. But in terms of the support and the knowledge banks that you've got online and things like that, really, really useful.
How did you use Omnisend, the features, the email campaign builder, or anything else that you mentioned to plan and execute your Mother's Day campaigns? This also includes, if you use the knowledge from our CSMs from Gintare, just to plan your Mother's Day campaigns this year.
Yeah, so primarily for Mother's Day campaigns, we used campaign emails. So we planned out and there's always quite a few emails that we do over the period leading into Mother's Day, because we know that we can drive results from it. So we would plan in a number of plan a number of campaign emails, and then we've used those to, first of all, we did the opt-out option, so anyone that needed to opt out, and then we would do kind of key messages leading into Mother's Day, things like the types of gifts that you could buy for different types of mothers. So for instance, if you have a mum that really likes being in the garden, you've got the gardening package. If you want something a bit more TLC, promote the kind of relaxing sleep package, etc. And then we created a gift guide, so we would communicate the gift guide that we've created to help people choose what gift was right for their mother. And then leading into, as we got closer, it would be around the delivery dates, so people knew exactly, how much time they had before they needed to order. And then we would also use your boost feature, so boost campaign. So that's where anyone who hadn't opened the original email, we would send another boost email. That's primarily for Mother's Day. Outside of that, we've also got automation set up as well. So therefore, the likes of abandoned basket. And when people first sign up, when people first make a purchase, and then so it's a kind of more of a follow-up automation that supports what we've got going on with the main Mother's Day campaign.
Those automations, I guess they were pretty active during the Mother's Day period.
Yeah, because you've got more traffic coming to the website. You've got, during this occasion, so you've got more traffic coming to the website. You've got more people buying. So ultimately it feeds people more into the pool that we can then follow up with through your automations.
Perfect. So I noticed this year you sent out 7 different campaigns for Mother's Day, beginning about a month before Mother's Day. So how did you come up with 7 campaigns as a strategy?
So we always, before we go into any occasion, we plan a theme. So we have a theme around that particular occasion, and then ideas of how we bring that theme to life. So obviously it's not just through email, it'll be through all of our other channels as well. And it might be the partners that we're working with, they'll, more, like I say, the emotive side. So we created a video, we created a gift guide. So we've got, it becomes much more of a bigger integrated campaign. And then that's how we work on how we and when we communicate with customers via email. So because we know that we've got quite a few messages, because we built the idea and the theme around Mother's Day, it allows us to communicate quite regularly with our customer base.
Which end of the, 7 emails that you sent, do you see a bit more of the successes or the sales?
The great thing is that we see success through every single email that we send, specifically for Mother's Day. As you get closer to the occasion, people are more, you're pushing people basically, so they're more likely to buy because they're like, oh yeah, and I've got Mother's Day coming up, it's next week. And funnily enough, not that I want to judge, but men tend to be last minute buyers.
We're 100%.
Yeah. You tend to come in quite late, and again, we see that as well. So as we get normally kind of 4 to 6 days before the occasion, men come into the market and buy their gift. So that gives it a bit of a boost.
Yeah, I usually do mine the day before because that's when I remember. Oh my, Mother's Day is coming. Last year, did you also do the same kind of strategy with 7 campaigns, or was it a bit different structured?
Really similar in that we know kind of what works, so we use the same model, and again, it's driven by what messages we have. I think the other thing to consider, given that we are a business that's built around thoughtfulness, is we don't want to overload, we don't want to bombard our base. The reason that there's more during campaign periods is because we have more to say, and I think it's important that then you're targeting your audience with something that's relevant and meaningful. What I don't like to do is that kind of intensity of emails on a regular basis, because we need to make sure that we're going out to our customers with something that's relevant to them. So yeah, but I think in a campaign period, especially Mother's Day, given it's our biggest occasion, people do like to hear what we've got, and we see through the engagement of open rates and things like that, it's a high engagement. Okay,
so how would you judge this package of Mother's Day campaigns against your other campaigns throughout the year? Do you think they perform better, or how do they perform?
Yeah, so we're really lucky in that, as I say, we've got a really engaged customer base. Okay. We tend to see anywhere between 39 and 49% open rates, which is really good. and our click-through rates are high, and conversions off the back of that as well. So we drove over 8,000 in revenue through just the Mother's Day communications, which is great. But as I say, we're lucky that we do have an engaged base, and our open rates tend to be really quite high, regardless of what we're talking about. As I say, what you tend to see is as you get closer to the occasion, those metrics go up and increase because people are then in the market wanting to buy. How would you judge your performance this year? Like how you said you made 8,000 in sales. Is that good for your brand? Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a hard one to answer actually, because obviously we've just come off the back of 2 years of COVID, and we did phenomenally well. So our business, we during that period, online retail was on our all-time high, and we were 600% up year on year. So Mother's Day, we did our best ever Mother's Day, significantly more than any other year in 2021 because of the fact that people weren't able to move around. If we take out those last 2 years in the pandemic, then year on year we have definitely increased. And we've improved. So every year we create more orders during the month of March for Mother's Day. So it definitely did perform better than previous years, but obviously not as good as 2021. I think we've seen that everywhere, including non-e-commerce as well. Same here at our company. We could get back to that. That'd be great. Well, without all the bad stuff, maybe. Yeah, of course, yeah. All right, so you finished your campaigns for 2023. Do you already have any ideas of what you would do differently next year? Because we're a small business, we tend to move quite quickly onto the next campaign. So the next campaign for us was Easter, and then we've got Father's Day coming up in June, and then we'll go into Christmas planning. So what we tend to do is kind of move quite quickly onto those campaigns, and then we'll come to plan Mother's Day again, probably kind of late this year. And that's the way that we tend to work, because we're small and we need to move quickly. And we're not a big team. So there's, in terms of capacity, we don't have huge amounts of resource to spend on planning and, making sure that that's ready well ahead of time. So I would say that we take what we've learned and we make sure that we plan it into next year, but that will be done at a later stage. You said that with a bigger team, you would want to explore a bit more about Omnisend. So do you know what kind of features you would like to try if you had the time and the resources? Yeah. So I would like to use automations more. I think I would. There's definitely we would like to encourage more sign-ups to our newsletter so we can communicate more. And we know that our customers buy on average between kind of a 97-day period, so 3 months. And I would like to do some more kind of targeting around that. I would like to do some more targeting kind of every 3 months to then increase sales that way. And the other thing as well is that we have people buy for different reasons, and we capture those reasons. So you might buy for birthday, you might buy for bereavement, you might just buy for for an occasion. And again, we would like to use that information to then tell people about other reasons and occasions that they can buy for. And that again will be kind of through automations. I'd like to do some more testing on popups and things like that. So there's, I mean, we haven't even scratched the surface yet. There's a lot to do. I just need some more resource, but we've got someone starting in May, so I'm hopeful that we'll be able to really. And also, the other thing I should say is that I don't think we've really maximised the creative either. So there's a lot of options creatively. Again, I'd like to do more with that. I'd like to make it more creative. I'd like to do some testing on creative and subject lines and things like that. So that's all part of the plan. Perfect. Yeah, so we have the resources, we have the CSMs, we have the knowledge, and we're also exploring some more educational content to help make that discovery a bit easier for you as well. Yeah, so after a few years of Mother's Day campaigns, have you noticed any trends or changes over the years with Mother's Day in general? Yeah, I think after going through the pandemic, what customers then were looking for is to make it as easy as possible for them to buy products online and have it delivered very quickly. So there's that demand for kind of having it, delivered all day, every day, so they can get hold of whatever they need to very, very quickly. And I think that was driven by people being at home all the time and not being able to shop. But of course, that trend then followed on once everyone kind of came out, that they wanted to the demand was kind of there for next day delivery, weekend delivery, all those kind of things. I think then coming off the back of the pandemic and going into a financial crisis, is that people were then looking for discounts. So people were wanting to have discount on their products, and definitely they were looking for that from us. I think our view on that is we have to be careful, because we aim to give, again, we're a thoughtful business, and we aim to give the customer the best and fairest price. And if you start to discount, it becomes, it affects the brand, and that people will always be looking at that from you. And it's not fair that, I think we try and always make sure that we give a fair price to the customer, so we don't then constantly have to discount what we're doing. And I think the other thing that we've seen is people tend to be, again, with the likes of, using online shopping so much more since the pandemic, and people getting used to shopping online, is that now it's recognising when people are in market for a particular occasion and making sure you hit them at the right time with the right products, and make sure that you're just, again, targeting those people but not bombarding them by not, overdoing it, and making sure that, again, we're thoughtful and authentic about when we target people.
Yeah, so I think that thoughtfulness extends to your strategies as well, thinking about how the customer is coming and when they're coming, right?
Yeah. So it is the thoughtfulness is key in terms of, again, not things like people have, when you go onto people's websites and straight away a subscribe message picks up or comes up. I think, again, we have to be careful with that, because we don't want to be too intrusive, but we obviously want to drive sales and get customers. But at the same time, we have to consider that thoughtfulness.
If I were a new brand in the US and I'm starting my first Mother's Day campaign this day, what kind of advice would you give me?
Know that audience, I think, is key. Understand what they're looking for and what they need. I think it's really it's touching on the emotive side as well. So I think that's key to connecting with your audience is about really recognizing what they are going through within that particular occasion or whatever it might be. So rather than just kind of shoving products at them or shoving whatever it is, it's about understanding actually what's the emotive side of it. And then again, the opt-out, I think, is key these days, because I think people should have the opportunity, if they don't want to hear about something because there's things that have affected them, then that would be key for me.
Thank you very much, and I think you did a great job.